Deftones, root, drop C tuning for the original key, guitar tabs, and guitar lesson. Okay, so this is for everyone that wants to stay in that drop C, white pony, chino style tuning, but you still want to play some standard tuning adrenaline stuff and just kind of transpose it. And this works fairly well. We start with this intro riff, and it's this single line thing, kind of resembles the next part coming up, but we're going to start way up here on the 5th string, because now the G, 5th string there, and we got 9, so a couple 9s, drop down for the octave on the 11th fret of the 3rd string, do a couple of those, all right, up to the 4th string, a couple 11s there, and then we bump it up to a couple 12s, up to a couple 14s, back to a couple 12s, back to a couple 11s, and then finish at a couple 12s on the 5th string, all right? And essentially, we would repeat that, 8 times. We would do the initial 9 on the 5th string to the 11 3rd string, and then 11 on the 4th string, go to about there, and then we drop down and we hit a couple of E power chords. And with the drop C here, we just basically go to 4, all right, 4th fret on the low C and the 5th string, the G, and we just go palm muted, we go 1 2 1 2. Okay, for the second part of the intro, and this is kind of also the chorus riff that happens. All right, we're going to be starting at our E power chord, so the 4s there on the C and the G, the 6th and 5th string there, and it's a couple strums with that. Then we'll basically just drop down, hit a couple 4s on the 5th and 4th string, along with the 6 on the 3rd string. So now we're just kind of doing like a real high-voiced E power chord with the B compounded over the top there. So, 4 4 6 right there, do a couple strums, and then we just make it a B power chord proper by just taking that 6 on the 3rd string, bringing it up a string. So now we have the 6 on the 4th string, 4 on the 5th string, a couple strums of that B right there. Take that power chord shape, just bump it up a fret. So we got the 5 and 7 now. For the couple strums of a C, bring it 2 frets higher now. So the 7 and 9, and this will be a D. All right, back down to the 5 and 7 for the C, a couple strums, back down to the 4 and 6 for a couple strums of the B, and then finish ultimately at a couple strums of the 7 on the 6th string and 5th string. It's a G power chord. Okay, you can hit that right there. All right, the end of the intro, and this also happens at the end of the bridge. We get this, cool like dissonant chords, like an E major 7, sharp 11, no third. Pretty simple. It's just in this tuning here, we got the 4 on the low C, and we got a 3 on the 5th and 4th string there. And we just hit it, let it ring for a moment, and then we do this quick 1, 2, 3, 4 palm muted strums on the 4 of the low C there. Repeat that twice, and then we kind of do a little hitch version of it here where, we hit the chord again, let it ring, and then we go 1, 2, kind of skip that third strum, hit it again, and then just repeat it again as we did the first time with the chord 1, 2, 3, 4. And after we get through all that, we just go to a really big just E5 chord, so just bar the 4 on the 6th, 5th, and 3rd string here. 6th, 5th, and 4th string, and then we do a 6 on the 3rd string, 7 on the 2nd string. Okay, we just give that a big strum, just a huge E5, and let that ring, and then if you want, we get this little faint G note in there, so you could just come over and hit the 7 on the 4th string here. Okay, and now we have like the end of the second chorus leading into the bridge section, and this is probably where it gets probably the wildest. So we have the end of the second chorus, which is kind of like the end of the first chorus, where we just strum out those really quick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 muted E power chords at the 4th fret here. So we get to that, and now we're into this bridge section, and it's just this really quick descending chromatic power chord with an E note kind of interlaced in between each, sliding descension there. And it gets a little tricky because we want that E note, but we're getting our E note now in this C tuning at the 4th fret of the C, so we can't really rely on that quick little open that we can hit in the standard tuning. But we can still make it work, and I think it works fairly easy here, so might take a little getting used to, but so we want this B flat to A power chord, so we'll get that here. All right, when we go 3rd fret on the 5th string and 5th fret on the 4th, okay, so just regular power chord shape there. Hit that 3 and 5, slide it down to 2 and 4, and at this point we want our quick little low E note. So to do that, we come up and we just hit the 4th fret on the C, all right, the low C here. And you can either do it like that, where you slide and then hit it with the pinky, or I kind of like to do it this way, where I make the power chord with the index and the pinky there, and then we slide that, and then I can hit that 4 on the low C with the ring finger. All right, so that's what we want there. 3 and 5 to 2 and 4, hit the 4 low C, and then we're going to keep it just chromatically sliding. All right, so now we'll take our 2 and 4, slide it down to 1 and 3, and at this point it can be a bit of a stretch to come over and hit that 4 on the low C. You can do it if you really want to, be super, exact about it. I think it's just fine to just sneak in a quick little, instead of hitting that low C, just hit the root note of the power chord again at the 1 on the 5th string, and then just hit the full chord again. So instead of doing like the slide chord, E chord, you go slide to the chord, bass note of the chord, hit the chord again, just to, just for that little section, just because it makes it a little easier. So at that point, we're going to keep it moving, and then we need to get this G power chord. So it's going to be kind of a hybrid situation because we're going to switch spots. So we take that 1 and 3, do a little pull off, all right, from the 5th string, all right, from the 1 to the open, and then just hit the 2 on the 4 with it. So you get that open G power chord there. And at this point, we're kind of freed up a bit because we're using an open. So we hit that open G, and now we can hit our E, our low E, and you can just do like a full-on power chord with it now, just by hitting the 4s on the low C, the 6th string, and the 5th string here. All right, and we're gonna hit that. That'll be our E interlaced. Slide it up to 7s, just to take a new spot for our G chord that we had the open. This will be a nice little transitional way to shift. All right, because it'll make it easier from here on out. All right, so now we're hitting our second G chord there at the 7s, And now we can just straight up do like the sliding dissension, similar to the initial way in the E tuning. All right, so we take our 7s, slide it down to 6, all right, for that power chord at the G flat, and now we can just lift off, get our E there, all right, come back to the 6, slide it down to the 5th fret for the F, and just give that one more strum, all right, and now we're just going to stay at our E spot here, all right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, palm muted on the 4th fret of the low C, and then we just lift off and hit the full power chord, the 4, 4, 4 on the 6, 5, and 4th string, and then do it once again with the palm muted, 1, 2, 3, 4 on that 4th fret, and then we lift off, and then we strum the full power chord, and we do a 4, 5, 4 on that middle C, the 4th string. All right, and then essentially we repeat everything again from the start of the bridge, go all the way to the end to where we're about to do that same, 4 power chord with the 4, 5, 4 in the middle C, and instead of ending it that way, we end it the second way, where we just do a power chord from the B flat, that 3 on the 5th string, 5 on the 4th string. We go there up to a B power chord at the 4 and 6, back down to the 3 and 5.